Oh, I have no proof of this, zero proof of this, but I'm wondering if Fani Willis is sitting there with her vodka and Nathan Wade and her cranberry juice, pouring that thing up and looking at the TV and watching Ceddy Nash right now. Because, Shouty, you better get ready because they coming after you next. In the words of Booker T. We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. Yeah. So we just gonna give you the updates real quick. As of 13 minutes ago, live updates, NY Attorney General Letitia James indicted after Trump's pressure campaign. Her indictment on mortgage-related charges follows a case brought against the former FBI Director James Comey. Here's the latest. A prosecutor handpicked by Trump secured an indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James on bank fraud and false statement charges in the Eastern District of Virginia on Thursday after the president publicly demanded she be charged. The 5-page indictment accused Ms. James of falsely claiming in loan documents that she would use a home she purchased in Norfolk, Virginia as a secondary residence and using it instead as a rental investment property, allowing her to receive favorable terms that would save her close to $19,000. The charge is coming 2 weeks after Trump directed indictment of James B. Comey, the former FBI director, deepened the president's intervention in the justice system, casting away longstanding Democratic norms as he seeks retribution on his political enemies. In a statement, Ms. James, a Democrat who had won a civil case against Trump, accusing him of fraudulently inflating the value of his assets, called the indictment nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. She called the charges baseless. The prosecutions have ushered in a turbulent era at the Justice Department, increasingly under the direct command of a president intent on using federal law enforcement to prosecute his adversaries, shield his supporters, and redefine criminality as it suits his interests. That his appointees have now succeeded in convincing 2 grand juries will likely embolden him, even if the prospects of conviction are anything but certain. In both the James and Comey cases, the career prosecutors who conducted the investigations reported that there was insufficient evidence to bring charges, and a previous U.S. attorney ousted by Mr. Trump declining to bring either case before a grand jury. Mr. Trump's newly appointed replacement, Lindsay Halligan, was the only prosecutor listed on either indictment in nearly all similar cases. The career prosecutors responsible for collecting and analyzing evidence signed the court filings. Mr. Comey pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to charges of lying to and obstructing Congress, and his lawyers said he would seek dismissal of the case as a vindictive and selective prosecution. Court records show that Mr. James is doing court in Norfolk on October 24th. Charges against other targets are likely on the way. The department has opened investigation into John R. Bolton, Mr. Trump's former national security advisor, Senator Adam B. Schiff, a California Democrat, among others. This is what tyranny looks like. Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Democratic minority leader and a longtime James ally, said in a statement, President Trump is using the Justice Department as his personal attack dog. Even some Republicans sounded a note of caution. Whatever threshold gets set here is the new floor for the future. Prosecutions, when roles are reversed, Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina told a CNN reporter, that's just the way this town works. Mr. Trump has escalated his campaign against the perceived rivals in recent weeks, pressing publicly for the U.S. Attorney's Office to pursue Ms. James and Mr. Comey. He posted on social media last month that they were guilty as hell, declaring, we can't delay any longer. In voting for an indictment, the grand jury showed that it had been persuaded that there were reasonable grounds to believe Ms. James might have committed a crime. But prosecutors have enormous sway over grand juries, which proceeded in secret, where defense lawyers are not permitted to mount a case. The indictment represented the culmination of a months-long effort to find enough to not only prosecute, but to publicly humiliate one of Trump's main targets. At the center of the efforts is Ed Martin, chosen by the president this year to lead a task force inside the Justice Department with a wide latitude to investigate people the president opposes and has accused of criminality. Mr. Martin, who has little prosecutorial experience, has said part of his job is to shame the president's enemies. He has expressed a particular animus towards Ms. James and showed up at her Brooklyn residence over the summer in a stunt intended to illustrate his intention to bring her to legal account. Early Thursday morning, Mr. Martin, who has nicknamed himself Eagle Ed, that's kind of lame, posted a vintage illustration of an eagle flying over the Brooklyn Bridge, which a person close to him suggested was a reference to his pursuit of Ms. James, a former New York City councilwoman who represented neighborhoods including Bedford-Stuyvesant and Fort Greene. A day earlier, Mr. Martin posted an updated photo of himself and Ms. Halligan in his office at the Justice Department headquarters. Ms. Halligan, who had been a White House aide with no prosecutorial experience before being named interim U.S. attorney, made the presentation before a grand jury in Alexandria, Virginia, in the James case on Thursday, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe an ongoing case. The Trump administration's effort to charge Ms. James began in April when the president publicly called her a crook. A day later, the head of Federal Housing Finance Agency sent a criminal referral letter to the Justice Department saying Ms. James appeared to have falsified records related to properties she owned in Norfolk and in New York. But the house at issue in the indictment was not included in that referral. The house in question, also in Norfolk, was purchased in 2020. Ms. James and her lawyer, Abe Lowell, who have defended the paperwork related to the other house in detail, have yet to discuss the paperwork for the 2020 purchase, in part because it was not previously known that prosecutors were scrutinizing that loan. Career prosecutors in Virginia, however, found little evidence to indicate Ms. James knowingly misled the banks or was dishonest in her loan paperwork, according to people familiar with the investigation who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Since then, Ms. Halligan has taken control of the case and has sought to file charges. Mr. Lowell said he was deeply concerned that this case was driven by President Trump's desire for revenge. Ms. James has been one of the president's most high-profile opponents since 2018 when she ran to be the attorney general, making her opposition to Mr. Trump a key plank in her platform. She opened investigation into him shortly after taking office, and in 2022, her office accused him of fraudulently inflating the value of his assets. After a months-long trial, Ms. James won a civil judgment against Mr. Trump that, with interest, rose to more than $500 million in August. However, New York State appeals court tossed out the fine, saying it violated the Constitution's prohibition against excessive financial penalties. Those judges, though divided, nevertheless upheld the trial's courts, finding that Mr. Trump and others overstated the value of real estate assets owned by his company in order to bolster his purported net worth and help the company get better terms on loans. This case is expected to be reviewed by New York's highest court. Oh, yeah. Wow. Letitia James. I ain't gonna hold you. Part of me is like this, right? Part of me is like this. I believe Trump did inflate his assets, but I believe fining him that much might have been too much. I believe it should have ended civilly with a fine if they found what they needed to find, because there are rumors that Trump is a crooked businessman. So fines are appropriate. I always thought, to me personally, if a person who has the money to pay it back can pay it back, tap dance on them pockets and get your bread back, and that's that. I'm not excusing or accusing Trump or nothing. I personally don't like the politician that he is, but so what? Who gives a damn? Because at the end of the day, y'all started it, he on with it too. Do I believe Trump tried to fix that damn, what's the name? Hell yeah. Hell yes. When he picked up that phone and said, I need you to find me a couple of more votes. You need to find me about 20,000, 30,000 votes. It's all right. You can find it. You can just, but the way in which they did that, completely wrong. Because let's understand something. If you people was being serious, the ideas of the quote-unquote Republicans are not the ones that majority of Americans want. Now, me, I'm more so leaning towards a lot of things the Republicans have going on. Second Amendment right, for sure, that I can carry in every state. Trump, I'm still waiting on that promise. Once you get reciprocity for every state, bruh, I'm going to purchase me a Make America Great Again hat that's going to kind of look like this one right here. Anyways, all BS aside, Fani Willis, you in trouble. They coming after you. Expect Fani Willis to be indicted. Mark my words, because one thing we know is that once you start naming names, you're done. This is what Letitia James and Fani Willis and Comey and all these cats should have did. Went along with your investigation and said nothing. Never made any statements, never said none of this crap. When you run a campaign saying you're going to come after this individual, and all of these cats, it's all right as long as you're black. But when you're white and you got money, hell to hell no. It is what it is. And if any person get on here and say, no, I'm not a white guy, you black people, you just seen P. Diddy go down for something that your boy, Donald Trump got away with when he cheated on his wife, and he paid that P-star basically to bury that and say that never happened. And he ended up losing that. So Trump keeps skating the line, keeps skating the law, keeps on doing what he's doing, but understand this shit. The United States is for rich people and rich people of a certain pigment. It is what it is. But is that any excuse? Hell no. Should Fani Willis or Letitia James basically be screwed over for this crap? No. Not at all. But it's mighty funny how these people, meaning Trump and all these other individuals, skate the law, and y'all do a little underhanded stuff too, it seems like, and you skate the law as well. Misappropriation of funds, if y'all bring it towards Trump, don't get mad when it come back at you. It is what it is. I don't give a damn. Some people are mad, hey man, so you a Trump supporter, bro? No, what I'm saying is if you throw dirt at my house and you complain about how dirty my house is, don't get mad when I point out how dirty your house is too. They should have never mentioned Trump by name and went on with their investigations. For the positive that you got from Trump, you take the negative. Now, if I'm Trump, I ain't gonna hold you. Bruh, you better hope by the time you not president anymore, within the next year, you kick the can. Because they gonna come after your children and your freaking fortunes and all of that crap that you have gotten. Your kids are royally doomed and screwed. If when midterms happen, if the freaking Democrats take back the Senate and the House, it's going to get ugly before it gets better. This quote-unquote fake civil war that y'all think is going to happen is never going to happen. Because we already militarized the police. So that's why none of this crap could ever happen. But I want you guys to understand this part right here. They got what they got. And Fani Willis, you next. Here's what it is. Hey, click right here and see how that man Drake, they not like us, took on that L, yeah, bro, Drake got his cell phone done. We read the paperwork that a lot of people are too fearful to do, but we did that. So if you can, check it out right here, or just click the playlist and watch everything run for you and get you through your night. I'll catch y'all on the next one.